My name is Tim Reha here live at HPA Tech Retreat. We are here Wednesday in beautiful Palm Springs. And we have Addy Ghani with Disguise, and you're the VP of VP.
That's right. Yeah, weird title, but Vice President of Virtual Production.
Awesome. So we had a great conversation earlier. Your favorite color is orange.
That's right.
And you have an interesting background. How did you get into this business?
Yeah, I come from feature animation background, sort of, your high-end CG output. I worked over a decade at DreamWorks Animation. We did pre-visualization with motion capture in its very early days. So the days when Avatar 1 came out and the industry was trying to harness that power. Yeah, so did a lot of that and, helped. I have a couple of patents and, helped drive a lot of that technology early on. And then I moved on to Verizon Media. I was part of a big 5G initiative over there. So
cool.
Real-time Unreal rendering over 5G cloud compute.
And that's what's cool is all these pieces seem to come together. The whole technology stack from 5G now enables edge devices. All the way to big media servers. That's what I remember D3 being is a media server for live events company.
Exactly.
And then a couple of years ago, you're helping solve problems with this virtual production space with Unreal Engine.
That's right. Yeah, and just for clarification, D3 is Disguise, right?
Yeah.
So the name of the company is Disguise, but D3 is our heritage. It's sort of where we were, 10 years ago. The company still does probably the majority of the big concerts around the world, Ed Sheeran, U2, Coldplay, you name it.
Yeah, super fun space.
Yeah.
And so, and then we kind of see from back in the day to today, what problems are you guys solving that requires your expertise?
Right. So Disguise makes incredible, robust hardware and the software that runs on the hardware to power shows. I think the transition to virtual production and specifically around, feature episodic production, those tool sets have to be a little bit modified and, our products need to kind of adjust and gear into this market. So that's where I come in.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so, how did you just recently took this VP job?
Yeah, I'm a month in.
Oh, okay, cool. So we want to say hi to Carolyn and our friends at Disguise. She was here yesterday, and then we queued up this interview. We have a lot of friends out there. And so I'm curious what you guys what's your 6-month game plan, and what are you going to bring to the table that's going to be revolutionary in this space?
Yeah. I mean, look, first things is solve the big problem, which is people. The big bottleneck is we don't have enough Disguise operators. We don't have enough Unreal artists. We can't power the shows without the people.
And that's a big. Is there's a systemic problem globally for this talent pool?
Right.
We're speaking with I think Dane Smith and folks about this the need to basically boot up a massive education plan globally.
Yeah, I mean our volume is maybe under 100 people or so that we output that we feel comfortable operating on our systems. Let's grow that to 4 figures, 5 figures.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And so where would people start?
That's a great question. So we are restructuring our training programs. So there's a smaller sort of barrier to entry, and you could casually learn. You don't have to deep dive in. And then once you're past the casual learning, we're going to build a training center here in LA. That's going to be a proper stage meant for production, except we're going to use it for training.
Cool.
It's we realize that operating on a virtual production set has to be hands-on. I mean, there's only so much.
Yeah, it was nice to see AJ and the crew at Orbital, and I've been hanging out with our friends at Planar. And you don't know until you actually go into a volume and you can see the robotic cameras. I was just in Chicago when they had a Bolt there, the glass, and this whole complex ecosystem has to come together. And then your piece is what? You have a server and software.
We're the
plus
middle,
expertise.
We're the middle layer. We're the middle glue. We call ourselves the platform of platforms. So if you look at any of the 3 stages there, right, you have a camera tracking system, you have cameras, you have lenses, you have LED volume, you have the controllers, you have Genlock, you have preview monitors. All those things sort of come into the Disguise platform. We're the hub in a hub and spoke.
Gotcha. Cool. And so if I'm looking at your services, what layer is now added on for virtual production?
Yeah, I think we are a completely new vertical. So we have our live events, which is, an incredible heritage over a decade. Then we have our fixed install, which is also incredibly prolific. We have hundreds of, corporate events and corporate spaces. And now the new vertical is virtual production.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your outlook like this next year?
Yeah.
Because there's so much stuff moving around so quickly. People are trying to find solutions.
Yeah.
And how are you making it easier for people to scale and build these operations out?
Right. No, that's a great question. So I think the industry is going to go, let's try to do this ourselves, and they're going to they're going to put some stages up in-house, and then they're going to quickly realize that for day-to-day operation, there's a lot of things that break and don't work that cause very frustrating downtime.
Yeah.
That's where Disguise comes in. Like, we're all about reducing that downtime, that ease of operation. So, return on investment for our stuff just makes sense if you're a proper studio.
And you can control the hardware and the software as a package, which is a little bit easier. Then you have all these different things that can break, so you reduce your risk factor.
Yeah, and we have a global army of support staff. Like, we can support you in Shanghai as well as in LA.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so, what's the creative secret sauce you're going to bring to the table this year? I want to probe a little bit about, because I've seen, if you look up Disguise, go to the website, you can see these amazing shows. I saw the piano demo.
Yeah.
And a bunch of cool stuff. How do you see the future of this unfolding, kind of pulling in the live event space plus virtual production?
Yeah, I think just having a strong Unreal Engine background, I want to push what the engine can do on a stage, and bring in real creatives, right? So bring in a director that's really hungry to make an episode or a short or a commercial, and then let's push him through our stage. And let's take notes while we're doing it.
Is the universe moving to live virtual production?
I think it's yes and no. I think real-time in-camera VFX is sort of the promise of virtual production today, but just looking down the pipe, I think it's going to integrate directly to traditional VFX, which is all post.
How many people does it take to run one of these systems? Like, if you're an ad agency looking at getting into this space because you have to offer some new services for clients, you're a brand that wants to have control of your studio space.
Yeah.
They should invest, it seems like to me, if you want to keep up with the times.
Yeah, I mean, depends on your needs, right? So if you have an absolute, high caliber show that must run all the time, you want a big crew, you want redundancy in that crew. I think, you could start with maybe 5 people, a couple of operators, a couple of technicians, some engineers, and then scale that up. Go from there.
What's some of your past experience in some cool projects where you're innovating? You said you had some patents that you're going to shake the tree of innovation.
I don't know. No Einstein here, but one of the projects that I'm super proud to have worked on was a live event execution for Verizon 5G for Star Wars.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so for Star Wars Red Carpet premiere, Rise of the Skywalker, we did a whole execution where a real person can walk into a digital hangar in the Star Wars set, talk to the stormtroopers, have a whole interaction, and then have it all recorded so they can share it on social. That's
cool.
Yeah.
And I'm curious what makes you tick. Why did you join Disguise?
That's a great question. I think I want to be at the bleeding edge, and I almost want to be at an uncomfortable state where we don't know what the future is. I think that's what makes me tick. Yeah.
No, that's good. It's like they call it a bleeding edge because you actually bleed, because you're taking that risk. You stay up late and you have to burn some neurons. But that's where the progression of creativity happens.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like, if you look at our product map, Disguise product map, I mean, it's so aggressive over the next few quarters. Like, we're just reinventing our stuff over and over again to just keep up with the current innovations.
And then do you have a stage in LA?
We have a small stage now. Yeah.
And then you're building out this education program.
Correct. It's a bigger stage. The stage in LA is used for, fixing customer issues, demos. It's like more corporate stuff. And then the big stage is like for fun.
Cool. So what's next for you?
Next for me, I'm going back to LA and looking for that real estate.
Oh, really? Did you actually get to go find a studio spot?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
So we'll catch up with you again in LA when you find the space.
Absolutely.
And we want to thank you, Addy, for being on the show. It's so good to meet you in person. It's really nice to actually meet people in the flesh here after 2 years of not doing that, and Caroline for setting up the interview today.
Absolutely. Tim, I just want to say I followed you on LinkedIn for a long time, and this is the first time I met him in person. Love that we're all here in person, and a huge fan of your work, man.
Cheers, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.